I started this project a little while ago, and I think it's finally time to bring it to the light. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to a fictional escapist. My name is Kris, and today's video is a little bit different. It's kind of like a shop my shelves. It's kind of like an introduction to a try a chapter series, I guess. In that I have a lot of books, and a lot of books that are sitting unread on these shelves, and like a lot of content creators, we get caught up in this idea of consumerism and buying a lot and getting excited about a lot, and it can be problematic when you don't have a lot of space or a lot of money. But what I've realized is that there are a lot of books on these shelves behind me, both traditionally published and indie published, that I'm just not sure are going to work for me now that I've sort of gotten to know my taste a bit more and honed in on what I really do enjoy within the realm of SFF, and also branching out into historical fiction and other things, dabbling in other things here and there. So I actually did start this a while ago, where I filmed like an introduction to a try chapter vlog, and you can't really see it, but beside me there's like a small shelf where there's not a lot of books on it. So the top shelf on this one is books that are like in my immediate vicinity, like vicinity. Yes, I'm here, and so is that. But on my radar very soon, like I want to get to them. The next shelf down was always intended to be like I guess, a rotation of books that I have behind me and in these shelves next to me, where I'm not sure, and I want to try a chapter and decide whether I'm keeping it or I'm unhauling it or donating it or whatever that may be. So at the moment, there are 5 books in there, and there have been 5 books in there for months at this point. I think I filmed this, the first attempt at this, when I got that shelf in the middle here, since it moved. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to go through my shelves. I'm going to pick enough books to fill this shelf here and run you through them. So it'll be sort of, I guess, a long series project where eventually there will be try chapter vlogs, where it's like, if I'm looking to unhaul books, these are the books that I'm going to be trying a chapter and deciding whether they're for me or not, and that will happen over a series of different videos. So, but for today, we're going to get the, I guess, TBR or not to TBR, as it may be, for this particular video. So I'm going to take you off the stand now. We're going to go through all of my shelves, and we're going to fill up a shelf of things that I may keep or I may end up unhauling. So I'll see you in a bit. Just as a reference point, I guess, this is what we're starting with. So these are the 5 that I picked out initially. That original vlog footage won't see the light of day, which is fine, but we have quite a bit of space, as you can see. Little paperweight there that I got from my late grandmother. Always loved it as a kid, the bubbles inside. Anyway, we're not here for that. But yes, these are some that I have. We've got some space to fill up, so let's go find some books. Okay, we're back. I ended up putting the camera down because it was just too much. I ended up with a lot more books than I thought I would throughout that endeavor. So what I did was I went and had a look at the shelves behind me. You can see there's quite a chunk out of this one here, over there. And I also looked at the shelves beside me, and also not this little one so much, but yeah, anything behind me and beside me. The idea was to look at series that I am on the fence about where my enjoyment is going to fall on these, so I can start doing some try chapters and cleaning out the shelves, making more room for things that I know I'm going to enjoy, things like that. So potentially all of these will be getting a try chapter at some point, hopefully within 2025, because I'd like to churn out some things that I'm maybe not as excited about or don't necessarily work for me in the first chapter, and we'll see where we go. But this part of the video is going to be running through all the things that we have. So I tried to do my best to split it into indie versus trad pub, and it's pretty much for muchness in terms of a split. So we may actually end up with 2 shelves on the little thing beside me, because yeah, there was more books than I thought there would be. I ended up like finding some to unhaul as well, like the Indian Lake trilogy, because I've read it and I'm not going back to it. So anyway, let's just start. So I do have more than this series from V.E. Schwab. I really like V.E. Schwab as a human being. I quite like their honesty and transparency on social media, and I've learned a thing or two by following them. I don't know how their writing is going to work for me. Just saw Neil Gaiman's name on the back of this. Ugh. Anyway, so I have both A Dark Shadow Magic, so I've got the trilogy. I think there's another book coming out in the series, or maybe it's a continuation series, I'm not sure. And I also have Vicious and Vengeful, but I don't know where I'm going to fall on V.E. Sharp's writing. So I will give this one a go, and if I like it, then that's great. I have another like 4 or 5 books here. One of my anticipated releases this year is the book that's coming out in, I want to say, June or July. We'll see. We'll see how I go with V.E. Schwab's writing in this one. Next one is one that I picked up. Like, I know I picked it up because I know I picked up Dinosaur Lords because there was dinosaurs in it. People are riding dinosaurs. This was a cover by that I saw on somebody else's channel, and I was like, riding a dinosaur? Yes. Like, that just speaks to the young boy in me. I want to go ride a dinosaur. I have no idea whether I'm going to like this. It could be the best book I've ever read. I don't know. But I know nothing about it, so I'm putting it on the shelves. The Tiger's Daughter. This is by K. Arsenault Rivera. Now, I was intrigued by this. This is one of those books where I kept picking it up in a bookstore, and if I pick it up 3 times, I'm going to buy it. So I ended up buying it. I believe this is in second person. No? First person, from the page that I just looked at. It does have a endorsement by V. Schwab on the back, so I love the cover. I love the muted tones and the pops of color here. I kept picking it up, so I don't know where I'm going to fall on that one, as is with all of these. Jumping over to a couple of historical fiction. So the Pillars of the Earth, this should work for me in theory, but I have seen someone talk about this, and the way that females are represented, or the male gaze is represented in the series, really not working for them. That is something that I can be quite sensitive to myself. So while I love the premise of Pillars of the Earth, and I owned the first 2 books, if that is something I can't get beyond, it may be a series that I end up just putting aside and not being for me, so potentially there. I also have a Con Eagledon here, which is Lion. Now, this is a time period where my wife is more interested in history. For me, like actual history, goes in one ear and out the other. So every time I read a historical fiction book, it's like, well, it's completely new information to me, even if it's been done to death. So I liked 2 of the 4 Genghis Khan books that I have consumed by Con Eagledon. I don't know where my enjoyment is going to fall on this one, and there's a lot of historical fiction that I would love to read. I don't have room on that shelf, so I will also be trying that one. I have here My Best Friend's Exorcism. This is by Grady Hendrix, I want to say. Yeah. Now, I love the cover. I don't love slashes, as I've just sort of discovered with the Angel of Indian Lake, and I believe this is another like slasher story. So again, I don't know where I'm going to fall on this one. I suspect this may be one of those cases where I read the book and then I unhaul it, but I might give it a whole book to read. I am interested in some other Grady Hendrix works, but maybe not the slashes, so that'll go on the shelf, and we'll see how I feel. This one is Bluebird by C.L. Perlot. I probably butchered that, I'm so sorry. This is Lesbian Gunslingers in Space, which, again, theoretically sounds like it should work for me, but I have not heard a whole bunch about this author or this book, so I'm not sure where my enjoyment is going to sit. I know that the synopsis of Lesbian Gunslingers in Space, however, did get my attention. It will very likely work for my housemate if it doesn't work for me, so I'll give that one a go and see where I fall. This was a cover by, and also I believe this is philosophical sci-fantasy, and I'm very intrigued by the premise. And also, when people say reads have been difficult, I'm like, I want to give that a go. Is that a superiority complex? I don't know. But this is Black Leopard Red Wolf by Marlon James. And this is just a gorgeous cover. And I got the hardcover for like a steal, but it's been sitting on my shelf for a very, very long time. So I would like to try a chapter of that and see if it'll work for me, or maybe it won't. Next one is an author I have a few series from on the shelf, or 2, and this is The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon. I had these first 2 in the Broken Binding editions. I didn't end up getting the second lot of them because I just don't know where this author is going to sit for me, much like V. Schwab, very sort of similar feelings. Quite like Samantha Shannon on social media, but I don't know very much about her works, so I will try this one and see where that goes. And the next one I have here is The Emperor's Blade by Brian Staveley. Again, this series should work for me. However, there is some content in here, and again, the way women are treated, that may not. So I will try a chapter and see whether it's worth reading the book. I have the whole series for this, so it may be something that I read and then donate, or I'm not into it in this first chapter, so I decide not to keep going on with it. Then we have a couple of, I guess, older works. One is Dragonsbane by Barbara Hambly. I do not know where I'm going to fall on this one. I have just like watched someone's stories who I'm friends with on Instagram who really enjoyed it, which is great. But I was burnt by the Dragon Riders of Pern by Anne McCaffrey, so I'm not sure where that's going to go. I have Colors in the Steel by KJ Parker. I have a couple of KJ Parkers. This is the first book in a trilogy, I believe. The Library of Alexandria sold me on KJ Parker, but I've never read any, and I have a couple, so give that a go. The Magic of the Recluse by L.E. Modesett Jr. This is a very long-running series. I believe they're all standalones set in the same world, and I'm just not sure how the writing is going to go, so we'll give that one a go. And the next one is The Sword of Shannara by Terry Brooks. I have the first three, and I think these are very easy to read, but I have heard like sort of same once you've read a couple of them. I don't know. So we'll give it a go and see where that one lands, whether I want to keep the first three that I have on the shelves and read them at some point. The next wave I have, I believe, is all indie, and that's where you can see the big gaps in the shelves here behind me. Now, a lot of these I bought. Sorry, the chair's squeaky. Cover buys, there were sales on. I was just buying up big. Nowadays, I try to sort of look at the authors and what they stand for, and can I get it from their website directly and things like that. A lot of these were bought off Amazon, like my first year or two of reading it, and then I just buy a lot of ebooks because the authors get more money and I don't mind reading ebooks. So yeah, it's just a pile of these that I bought from like Spiffbo sales and things like that. The first one is Ostracized. This is by Olivia Majors. I know nothing about this except the cover was kind of nifty. So 17-year-old Carla Bone refuses to become a political pawn. I mean, it sounds okay. I just don't know where it's going to fit for me. So that one is in the pile. We have Litany of the Destroyer by Chaz LaBelle. I think I have this in digital too, but again, I don't know a lot about these. So that is there. Wake of the Phoenix. This is by Chelsea Harper. I've heard. I love this cover. This is my cover picks for whatever year it was in Spiffbo. This light's not going to do it justice because I'm filming too late in the day. But it is a beautiful cover. I hope that I enjoy it, but I don't know. So that one is going on the list. This one is The Boy Who Walked Too Far by Dom Watson. Cool cover. One time the ring light actually does the cover more justice because it's quite a dark cover, and it's hard to see the details, but this light's actually giving you more. I like the premise when I read the back of this one. I think this one was on one of the indie release lists, and when I had disposable income, so I'd buy physical books. So, but I haven't picked it up since getting it, so we'll see. I have two by Travis Riddle. One is Flesh Eater, and one is The Narrows. An author I would like to read, but I haven't, and I don't know where his writing style will fit for me. I have The Broken Heart of Illyrium by Alex Robbins. Alex Robbins is an author that I would love to read. I think his historical fantasy may be more up my alley. I don't know if this is historical fantasy or just epic fantasy, but this is the first novel, so I bought it as a debut. And if it works, there are a few more in that universe, or that world, which I can read. I have Master Assassins by Robert V.S. Reddick, and this was a cover buy. Because of that, this cover is gorgeous, just beautiful. And there's a big cat, and I was like, love a big cat. So I picked it up. I have no idea how I will feel about it. Probably stop saying that. Next one is The Gallery for the Barbarian. This is by Taylor Hartley. I believe this is a collection of queer short stories, which normally would work for me, but I have heard from a couple of people that maybe it won't. So I love this cover as well. So we'll give that a go. Bob the Wizard has a cover from my favorite cover artist, which I bought to support the author after the controversy of their last cover, and then it got redone. And the cover is beautiful. It sounds quite quirky. Bob, a chain-smoking, foul-mouthed, shotgun-wielding ex-garbage man, chases his family killer. I don't know, cool cover, cool premise, but I know nothing about it, and I'm not like gravitating towards it on my shelves at any point. So we'll put it on the try chapter and see whether I'm going to read it. We then have this one here, which is Ironcraft by Pedro Gabriel. Heard mixed things about this one from Spiffbo reviews in the year that it was in there. It's got a cool cover. I do love griffins. Again, unsure. I have Eternal Night by Matt Hepp. I know nothing about it. What's in the background? So some shiny eyes night situation. Don't know. So that is going on the shelf. And the last one here, we have Master of the Flying Broom by Joseph J. Bailey. I hope I enjoy this one because the premise sounds really cool, like a coming of age martial arts inspired indie. So I don't know if they're all going to fit on the shelves. Actually, let me get the five that I had initially. Sorry, I forgot to mention the five that I had initially. Certain Dark Things by Sylvia Marino Garcia. This has been, I've read one book by this author and it was like, didn't love it, didn't hate it, and that was Mexican Gothic, so I don't know. This is The Sky Is Yours by Chandler Clang Smith. I bought it for the neon cover. It looks trippy as hell. Know nothing about it. I have Mooncalled by Patricia Briggs. This is book one in the Mercy Thompson series. There's quite a few books in this. Urban fantasy, which doesn't always work for me, but I have the first two. I believe there is romance elements in here as well, so romantic urban fantasy. I don't know. I used to read a lot more of this when I was younger, but recently I haven't been gravitating towards it. I have Urian by Maggie Fury, and this I believe is a influence for Rob J. Hayes, this particular author, and this book. I saw that he was reading it quite recently, and I'm like, hey, I have that. I picked it up at a secondhand book sale thing, and I've just never read it. So that's in there. And the last one I have here is Fairies of Calderon by Jim Butcher. So I would love to read Jim Butcher outside of Dresden because I liked the writing style. I just didn't like Dresden at all as a character. So I'm interested in seeing if I enjoy this series, which is like Pokemon and something else. I can't quite remember. If anyone knows, you can put it down in the comments, pretty please. Those are the many books which are going to be going on my try chapter shelves, and I'll read them eventually and then do an unhaul or do some vlogs or whatever comes from that. Are there any of these you think I will love and I should prioritize? Let me know in the comments down below. If you like the content, give one of those. If you want to see more of it, click subscribe at your will, and I will catch you in the next video. Ciao.